did Justin Trudeau of Canada suddenly decide to escalate the fight with India? The immediate reason, of course, is that he needs the Khalistanis to survive a confidence vote in his parliament. He's that weak. He's a very, very unpopular person in Canada. Everyone hates him. So it suits him to pander a little bit to the Khalistani lobby by trying to look tough with India, though the fact is that we slapped him back much harder than he expected, and we will continue to slap him, diplomatically, of course. But now here's the real story. Trudeau is a doormat for the Americans. He is an American puppet. His real masters are in the CIA, and he's doing everything on behalf of the American deep state. Yes, the same American deep state that carried out the military coup in Bangladesh. And the fact is that the American deep state is not happy that after the last state elections, Narendra Modi is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger despite all their conspiracies against him, and consolidating and strengthening his political base. Ladies and gentlemen, the Americans have a problem with Narendra Modi. Let me put it very clearly. And they have a problem with Narendra Modi even more since 24th February 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine. And Narendra Modi flatly refused to join the American camp. The Americans kept asking him to, but Narendra Modi is firmly in the Indian camp, in Bharat's camp. The Americans don't like that. They don't like the fact that Narendra Modi helped the Russian and Indian economies in a mutually beneficial deal by buying Russian oil, a lot of Russian oil, and also getting S-400 missiles from Russia, keeping a very strong business and defense relationship with Russia and Vladimir Putin. That got further strengthened on the 8th of July this year, when 1 month after becoming Prime Minister for a third time, Narendra Modi made global headlines when he went and had a great meeting with Vladimir Putin in Moscow, making it clear that India considers and will continue to consider Russia to be a real, strong, long-term friend. That's when the Americans went completely anti-Modi and anti-India, completely anti-India. They flatly refused to honor their defense deals with India. They thought it will be a way they can put pressure on India, that if they don't give us, for example, engines for our fighter jets. And that's when Washington told General Electric, which is an American company, to stop and delay the engines that they promised for the Tejas marine variant fighters, and also the GE engines that they had promised for our 5th generation multi-role combat aircraft. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, the Americans by now had become completely anti-Modi, and they tried to bully us. They tried to target us. But what did Narendra Modi do? He was much smarter. He sent our national security advisor, Ajit Doval, to Paris. And we sent a message to America that we are not so dependent on them. So we dumped America, and Doval, on that recent trip to Paris, closed a similar fighter engine deal with the French. This happened on September 30th. Just on September 30th. That recently, less than 2 weeks back. So Modi was outsmarting the Americans. And by then, the results of the Haryana elections came. Modi was also consolidating his base, becoming very, very strong. And all of this is the real story, ladies and gentlemen. The Americans went completely crazy. That is when the Americans initiated Plan B, which is Plan Trudeau and Plan Canada. And they told their Canadian puppet, the weak Justin Trudeau, to do what he's doing now. You see, viewers, put all the facts I have put together before you. And please understand and share this video with everyone. This is all a CIA game. Nijjar was a CIA asset. Pannoon is a CIA asset. The Americans are transactional people. They only want money, oil. They have no real political views. They'll work with everyone. puppets, generals and coup masters. They have no real views on Khalistan. They are simply using these pro-Khalistani elements. They're using this issue to try and get strategic leverage over the person they are targeting, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi and our country, Bharat. But let me predict today, the Americans will fail. The Americans' deep state will fail. And watch my words tonight. The Americans, having got a control over Bangladesh, will soon try to build a very large military base in St. Martin's Island, just off the Bangladeshi coast. And the puppet they put in charge in Bangladesh will allow them to do that, which Sheikh Hasina would not have allowed them to. The Americans are also trying to create further trouble in our northeastern part of the country. They want to support people to create a breakaway Christian state of Kuki land by breaking Manipur and targeting India's sovereignty. The only person in their way, the only person in America's way, a person who puts the interests of Bharat first and foremost, is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is what it's all about. Viewers, do not look at what is happening vis-a-vis India and Canada in isolation. Please don't. Please understand the larger game. Connect the dots with what I had said earlier in a similar video a couple of months back on the role of the American intelligence agencies in creating internal turmoil in Bangladesh, when Sheikh Hasina refused to do what the Americans wanted her to do, follow the American line, give up Bangladesh's sovereignty, give up a part of their land, do deals in a way that suits them. Only this time, the Americans have bitten off more than they can chew when it comes to India. Firstly, Narendra Modi is a very popular leader. He's much stronger. And Bharat is much more formidable than Bangladesh. We will beat the American plan, but we must all stay united and be very cautious. Remember, Canada and Trudeau are on the puppet strings with Washington. It's us versus the American deep state. Please share this video so more and more Indians understand the broader picture, so that we unite at a time when our rise in the world is becoming a threat to the interests of the American deep state.